And we're back, folks. Another edition of the Monday Morning Quarterback Film Study, week 4. But really, it's kind of like week 1 because the first week of the Big Ten schedule, the first time against a real team, and the first real in-game adversity for JJ McCarthy. And you know what, Devin Gardner, he was not perfect. Yeah. Unbelievable that JJ McCarthy was not perfect. We will get into that, but before we do, I want to let all of you know that this video is for your entertainment, your education, and edification of you, the viewer and listener only. We do not get paid off of this video. It's not monetized or sponsored in any way, shape, or form. We do not make any money off of this video. It is strictly for the people. Of course, you can support us in other ways. Be sure you like this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can always check us out on podcast as well. Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. Like and subscribe over there. And, of course, always subscribe to the MichiganInsider.com. That's where all of the inside dirt really goes down. $1 gets you in for the first month. And, of course, football, basketball, and recruiting. And then after that, when you become a full-paying member, you can get in on Paramount Plus as part of your subscription. Cannot beat the deal. But, DG, as I said in the lead-in, man, and as you said on Monday Morning Quarterback, he wasn't bad. Yeah. That's amazing when the standard is perfection.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to uphold that standard, but it's a standard I think he holds himself to, which is really good. But the fact that we're complaining that he wasn't perfect, and that's really kind of the knock, is that's a good thing, I think. I think it's a really good thing because it just shows how much further this offense can go.
Yeah, he pointed out, though, and this is what maybe my biggest takeaway from the game. We're going to go over all the plays. After this contest, he talked about, I didn't play my best football. I got to be better. I got some plays, some throws I would love to have back, some decisions I love to have back. The best I can do is to not do that again, to not make those mistakes again. That he was satisfied with the result, but it was introspection and looking ahead to what he has to get better at moving forward.
Yeah, being self-aware and understanding the situation and not being a repeat offender. That's such a huge thing. Like, don't repeat the same mistakes. Make new mistakes. We want, and Monday Morning Quarterback, I talked about the necessity for not just him but people in life to fail to move forward, right? You have to fail forward and fail as often as you can, and hopefully you just scrape your knee a little bit, right? You don't get an ACL or whatever the case may be. You don't get a serious injury when you fail, right? You get a little scrape, a little bruise, and you keep moving forward. And so that's a little scrape. He got a little bruise, a little scraped in this past game, and I love that he's able to see within himself and say, listen, I'm going to be better and not going to make the same mistakes, because that's one thing that coaches hate. The repeat offender is the absolute worst.
All right, we're going to start off with the plays now and get into start off with a good play. We like to emphasize the positives where they are,
and negatives.
And I mean, we go over everything. We go over everything. Make no mistake about it, and we will with JJ. Yeah. Just like we've done over the years with Cade, and I know with Monday Morning Quarterback before that, you would do the same thing. So this was a good play, though, Devin.
Yeah, this is a good play because of the throw. You got double post to the bottom of the screen, and it's just going to be a sail route layered over the flat defender that's chasing the flat, and there's really no true space to throw that ball, right? That's no real space to throw that ball outside all the way to the numbers from the left hash yet again. To a tight end and Shoemaker, who makes a really good catch, right? But this tight end is not going to get a whole bunch of separation. I told you how fast their linebackers were, and their safeties got good speed too. He's not going to get a whole bunch of separation, but there's a place for the ball, and that's the place for it. That's a really nice throw off of play action, right? You see the coverage lift with the double post, the big post, and then the sail route coming under. And what I've learned from seeing his extended reps, he's very comfortable with those high-low reads. Going high first, coming down low, and then maybe even going lower to the check down, which you've seen him do as well.
One of the things, Devin, in this game is we saw him on it like this. Look at the time in the pocket. Look at the time he has to go through and get to his check down.
Yeah, because it was very clear that Maryland's plan was, hey, let's keep this young guy in front of us. Don't let him run all over the place. And let's make him read through coverage, right? Let's make him make a mistake when we got a lot of guys back there, and see how greedy he's going to be. And you see that last year, early in the season with Patrick Mahomes. That's what the NFL did to him, right? And he was struggling. Remember that? He was struggling. Everybody's saying, oh, they figured him out. They figured him out. Well, it's kind of cool because a team is already doing that to him, and Patrick Mahomes couldn't figure it out in the beginning, right? He was throwing the ball. He wanted to get the ball down the field, and JJ is kind of known as the I want to drive the ball down the field guy, and so Maryland, that's a smart plan for Maryland, right? Play coverage, make them make a bad decision, and like you saw in that last play, climb up in the fight, right? Get in the fight, and when you get in the fight, there are throws out there. He gets to the check down. I mean, that's an outstanding play from a young guy because everybody was calling Patrick Mahomes done because he was struggling with that very thing, right? Because he's used to getting the ball down the field and he wouldn't allow it. And for JJ, who that hasn't been a thing, right? He hasn't had enough reps to say, oh, I've seen and struggle with it. But he recognizes it right away, doesn't drive the ball down the field when he can't, and finds a check down. That's very good play. And it just shows again that he does understand coverage. He can play safe. Right, because as much as I hate a safe quarterback all the time, it's some instances where you should be safe, and it seems like he's kind of got a good hold on when those moments should come.
All right, so let's show JJ his improv, right? Okay, so on one of these, he scrambles and he gets a first down. That's the first one that we'll see right here.
On Monday Morning Quarterback, I talked about. I said, listen, it's going to happen where it happens bad. It's going to happen when it happens good. Right? And so do you want to take this play away? Because it's 3rd and 7. You got to continue to drive, possess the ball, and watch what he does. Nobody's open. Once again, they're playing coverage. He tries to find a way, doesn't leave the pocket just yet, right? Starts to create. He's a creative guy. He starts to create, and I love the poise he's playing with, and then he turns it on and goes to get the first down. Now, I want him to go out of bounds here. You got the first down, go out of bounds. There's nothing else there to get. You got a whole fresh set of downs. But this is an outstanding play. This is a next level play. This is a beat Ohio play. Like, this is a play where you have to make this sometimes, right? It's not going to be every single play, but there are plays where, okay, they play coverage. What can I do to help the offense? Because with Cade, this doesn't happen. We just punt the ball away, right? But with JJ, we have a chance on this play. But then this is when I talked about the growing pains of figuring out when I can do it. When can I shut it down? When do I just throw the ball away? And on the next one, we're going to see it doesn't work, right? He just has to continue to find a comfortability of when I can get it done, when I can't, right? Because, if you were to see this next play first, right, and this play had never happened, you say, what is he doing? This isn't Hawaii, right? What are you doing? This is not Hawaii. You can't do that against a Big Ten team. Oh, well, what? What do you mean you can't do that? Because I talked to you in the break, and it doesn't happen, and I'm not the guy for ifs and what ifs. But if he doesn't slip, he's going to make that next big guy miss, right? If he doesn't slip there, he's going to make him miss, and it's going to be a guy in the end zone wide open, right? But he did slip, and he's down because the ball's down. So this is where he needs to find out when is it done. And because you're in the red zone, right, or fringe red, throw the ball out of bounds, right? 2nd down and 10, throw the ball out of bounds, and then live to fight another day.
Yeah, so after the game, he lamented this play. He said, I gotta make better decisions.
For sure. And the thing is, because of where you are, so the previous play was 30-40, on 30-40, right? So not a big safety area, not a big anything like that. So it's in that middle where if I don't get this first down, I run around, get sacked, right? We put the ball away, right? But if I run around and get a first down, we continue this drive. So that's the risk reward, right? The reward is a lot better than the risk. Here, the risk reward is a little different. The reward of making a touchdown is good, but the risk of losing the ball when you have points is where you need to kind of weigh it and figure out. And I think he'll continue to do a good job of doing it. But if he doesn't slip there, I'm just telling you, he's going to get away. But he does, and he has to know when to get the ball out here.
Right, and so
especially right, 2nd down, the play doesn't have to be made. Give yourself a second chance on 3rd down and let it fly.
So this is one that they talked about on the broadcast. We remarked upon it about it in the press box, but I didn't hear what they said. This was an example of really good coverage, right?
Yeah, I mean the whole entire coverage lifts. He's trying to find somewhere to go, and Blake isn't able to hold up on the linebacker, which is a tough ask for Blake, right? This guy is coming full speed. He tries to cut him, and he misses a little bit, and the guy retracts and makes the play. I love this because what you don't see here, you're going to see it on this next view.
Hold on. Oh, so let's start over with that because I didn't mute it. All right. So this is an example, Devin, where this was good coverage.
Yeah, it was great coverage. And Blake tries to get a block. He goes to cut the guy, and a guy makes a play, right? That happens. And he goes around and gets JJ. The one thing that I love, pause it there. I love the maturation and the poise because this is dagger, right? We know they love dagger with the guy blowing through the middle and the dig coming underneath. He could, right? He could throw this ball to Shoemaker blowing down the middle, right? Risk versus reward, right? You throw an interception here, he's running back for a touchdown, right? If that safety balls over and you can't get that ball up and down fast enough, right? Because this is a tough throw with a guy chasing and the safeties are over the top. It's a tough throw to make. If he makes it, it's great. If he doesn't, it's a pick and it's going to go in the end zone, right? So risk versus reward. I love that he didn't try it on this play. I love that he didn't try it. You can see that the DB is walling the dig off, so he's not going to have the dig. He's trying to see it. Would you say maybe take off and run? That I'm sure he was thinking about that Shoemaker throw. He's like, I can't do it. I can't do it in this situation. I can't do it right here. And then he takes a sack, which I am perfectly fine with. Sometimes the defense wins, right? Sometimes the defense wins. And this play, the defense won, and he didn't make a bad play worse by trying to force things to happen.
Right, and so, as you watch this live, and there were other plays like it where he had more time in the pocket than this, right? I mean, that was good time in the pocket, but he had great time. He had the kind of time in the pocket that Devin Gardner can only dream of.
Don't remind me.
His days wearing the maize and blue, right? And so you wonder, are receivers not getting open?
No, they're not rushing enough people, and they're having all the guys in coverage. And when all the guys are in coverage, it's hard to get open. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the thing is, it's not like this happens a ton of times. It's just that sometimes the defense wins. And that's the weird thing about fans and different. It's like they expect the defense, who's also Division I players, also $1 million coaches, to never win a rep. You know what I mean? And on this play, they run the rep.
Right. And so, look, they actually rushed 4 here. This is one of the times where, where they didn't just rush 3 and drop 8.
Yeah.
And so in scenarios like that, where, he has time in the pocket and guys are running around, is it just them winning a rep? Is it guys not getting open? Or is it, and this is what I discovered after talking about it after the game and wondering aloud, is it him seeing something he hasn't seen before? And there were times in this game.
That wasn't one of them, but I think there were. Yeah.
Yeah, there were times in this game, Devin.
Well, no, that is one of them because he's never seen his dig get walled off like that. Right? So they use Shoemaker as the vertical guy, which you usually use a super speed guy, but, he's not as fast. But he did do a decent job because you can see, like, the dig is coming in and Shoemaker's just passing by. So it's very muddy, right? It's a very cloudy view for the quarterback. But the dig's trying to get by, and he's getting walled off by the defender, right? I haven't seen anybody our digs are usually open, right? The Michigan's digs are usually, but it gets walled off. He hasn't seen it, and now it's like, I got to hold the ball. And it's like, do I try to do something? He takes a sack.
And so that, to me, what was something people were critiquing, and me wondering aloud, too. Hey, maybe, scheme, or work the check down a little bit more in practice, get into that.
He checks down very well.
But he does. But what was said to me was, look, this was actually a good thing. That he held the ball as often as he did was actually a good thing when it comes to his maturation.
That's why didn't I just salute to that?
Yeah, right?
you did. So at home, me and Sam didn't have this conversation.
No, we did not. We not. So I'm confirming to you after talking.
I'll say, wait a minute, is this like?
Yeah,
am I the Twilight's off? I just said that.
after talking to somebody, they say, "Look, man, you would see him. You made this point in practice, like he would just
try stuff.
He would just try stuff in practice. So you get in this game, and give Maryland credit to your point. Just like they got Division I athletes, they have some coaches over there too
they got a transfer portal and they got all that stuff. Same stuff we have, they have it.
Yeah, they have some coaches over there too who said, in the first 3 games, we aren't going to show everything we do. We're gonna break out some things for Michigan that we haven't shown yet. So JJ gets in the game and they throw some coverages at him that he hasn't seen, that they haven't shown on film. And if he didn't see it on film for them, Devin, when did he see? This is his 3rd start.
This is his first start.
Right.
Against, you know what I mean? Because remember we talked about how vanilla Hawaii was, right? and how vanilla
Colorado State.
Colorado State, and that's why we were so. I was a little furious, like why K wasn't able to do the things that you want him to do, just because of how vanilla they were, right? Like when I tell you, you can get any number of these top talented high school quarterbacks to go against those defenses, and they'll shred them, right? It's basic defense that's not very complicated and hard to figure out. But then when you start getting that Big Ten play, right, the coaches are getting paid a little more. Right, coaches are just a little better. You know what I mean? And so I think you're exactly right. I think we're exactly right.
Right, and they said, look, he didn't force it in the coverage.
Didn't.
That's actually
yeah,
a
one
good
mistake,
thing.
and we'll look at that. We had one mistake of like forcing in the coverage, and but that was it. And for it to be his first Big Ten game against a good Maryland team. Let me reiterate. I said it before. This is not in 2020 hindsight. Oh, they're good now. No, I said it last week. This is a good Maryland football team. Mm-hmm. And for him to have one bad decision that didn't even cost him, I mean, that's how more can you ask for?
Yeah, so you can be hard
because I threw my first start against the Big Ten team was Minnesota, and I think my first throw was a pick. So it hurt us. Obviously, as you know, the history has been written already. I went through and destroyed them in that game, but my mistake actually hurt us in my first Big Ten game.
Yeah, so you can rest assured that as he plays more, there's going to be fewer coverages that he hasn't seen before, right?
Of course.
And the team not showing it on film is not going to have the same effect.
My example was Talia Tagovailoa, who's been in college for quite some time, so they can truly trust him to do the right thing in different number of different scenarios because he's seen so much as a starter at this level. So
all right, so let's get into now some of the telestrations, Devin, and you don't like to throw the lookie.
I don't.
You don't like to throw the lookie.
I'm not getting down on no lookies.
You're not getting down on no lookies.
I'm not getting down on no lookies because that linebacker is hovering, waiting for me to throw it so he can pick it and run it back. And I don't know how my legs will be feeling that day, depending on how much I got hit. So I don't know if I'm going to run him down.
By the way, let me commend you. This was an outstanding
this is cool to draw. This is cool to draw, but this is cool what Michigan is doing. And we see the Chiefs, the Rams, all the really good offense, the 49ers. It looks like their offense is so plentiful. Like they got all these plays. No, they're just lined up differently, motioning and stuff, and now the play looks different. It's the exact same play, right? And so we've seen this play already, but we've never seen. I'm not gonna say we've never, but we haven't seen it like this at least this year, where we used to call it Trojan, right? We used to call it Trojan, where you got to sit, a corner route, and a swing, right? Kind of that triangle read, pretty simple for the quarterback. And
I'm going to bring up the telestration now. That was just giving them a look at the play.
Yeah, and there's a 9-yard gain, and you're probably thinking, well, what's wrong with that? Well, I think it could have been more. So I'm going to let him have it on it. And it's hard to argue with a 9-yard gain, right? So you see the corner swing, and usually it's a guy at the top, a wide receiver in position. You can play it. Usually a guy right there that runs a sit route, right? Mm-hmm. Now they take that away, move it, and use a tight end to do the same thing, right? So now you're keeping it simple for keep it simple, stupid, right? You're keeping it simple for the quarterback and giving the defense a different look that they don't recognize based off of what you've done. And so this is another good job by him. But I want this ball to Blake Corum. I want to throw in to Blake Corum. So you got Blake Corum, who is going to be able to catch and face up on a corner. And the reason the corner is lifted is because of the tight formation, right? With a tight form, if it was a wide receiver, the corner would be a little tighter, right? He'd be over there and he'd be able to maybe jam on whatever. But because of the tight formation with the tight ends, he's back a little bit and inside, right? So that's why you have so much space here. If you give the ball to Blake Corum facing up, I say he's going to get 15, maybe 20. But you give it to Shoemaker, I think it's Shoemaker, tight end.
I think it's Max Bredesen,
the tight end, and his back is turned. He still gets 9.5. Yeah,
so Jay, it was still a good. It was still a good.
So
decision.
It's a good throw. It's a good decision. But I'm just saying, I want. Which one do you want with the ball?
I hear you.
I want to get that rock to Blake Corum.
You know what? So. But see, to me, this is making perfect the enemy of the good.
That's what I mean. I mean, it's a great play. It's a first down play, and it's somebody said that they just run the ball every day on first down, and that's not true because this is first down, and they pick up 9 with a pass play. But I'm just telling you, Blake Corum can continue to make his Heisman case. You give him a rock right there. I mean, he gonna catch that ball face up, and it's gonna be tough sledding for that defense to get him to the ground. Even though it looks pretty tough getting Bredesen to the ground. So it's a good play, But I think there's more there. I think he could.
Yeah. And you know what?
I don't understand how we're arguing with 9 on first down. And I'm talking to myself, like, why are you arguing with 9 on first down? But, you could have got 20. I was just saying, you could have got 20 with Blake. But we don't know. Maybe Blake would have got tackled at 8. So, whatever. I don't know. But I just like Blake Corum facing up on anybody.
Yeah, all right. So this next one, this one was pretty. This was and what stands out to me was his recognition pre-snap of where the ball should go.
Yeah, this is good, man. This is really good ball. So they're man-to-man, right? They're man-to-man, and they're going to bring a safety off the edge. The offensive line, first of all, does a great job of picking it up and recognizing. You see that safety come up off the end of the line of scrimmage. But you got deep over, right? And what you have to do when you have an over route, a climbing over route, is check the depth of the defense, right? And so that box is kind of the depth of the defense. How deep is the backside defense? How much depth are they getting to stop this play from happening, right? Mm-hmm. On this play, there is no depth of the defense. Why? Because it's man-to-man, and we don't have a receiver, right? It's called a nub side. We got a nub side just a tight end, and they're going to bring the safety off the edge. So there is no receiver or defensive threat and no depth of the defense. But what you can't do because of the middle safety, you can't stare at the receiver as he's crossing the field, right? You can't stare at the receiver as he's crossing the field. And you can't see it right now. It's a great throw, but you're going to see from this view. Look at the eyes on the helmet, right? The eyes go straight to the depth of the defense, right? That's having a plan and understanding what you have out there and what you need to do with your eyes to make sure you get it. Eyes straight to the depth of the defense, which doesn't exist, right? And then he comes back and throws a great pass to Roman Wilson coming across. This is next level stuff. This is the stuff we're talking about where that's understanding the flow of the offense and what you need to do and what needs to be done, what techniques do you need to have, what drop and all that. And then on the second part, we saw him miss some of these deep throws. This is him doing a very good job. So
let me back it up to the very beginning. I want you to talk to us like we didn't play. Because most of us didn't play, right? So you got to talk me through. So you got a post corner at the top.
You got a post corner at the top.
Post corner.
You got like a middle read. It's a post, but it could be vertical probably. Yeah. No, so middle read at number 2. Yeah. And then you got a over at number 1. So number 3. So
my question to you before we came on is, all right, what as you draw it on paper. What is your progression? Are you looking post corner first? And I ask this question for a reason. Yeah. Because he never looks over there. Yeah. So he
saw the depth of the defense.
He saw the depth of the defense.
Non-existent depth, obviously.
Pre-snap. And so what it said to me was, he's like, abort that.
Yeah.
That's not my number one read anymore.
What I said is, when you call post corner, you usually want to throw a post corner. Right? You call a double move, you want your quarterback to throw the double, or look to throw the double move. Right. But for him to be able to recognize, okay, we have a double move, which will probably be good. I'm pretty sure he probably got open, right? Double move, post corner, Cornelius Johnson. Cornelius Johnson. Seems like a good idea here. But you got Roman Wilson screaming across the field and man-to-man, similar to Tyreek Hill, screaming across the field and man-to-man for the Chiefs and now the Dolphins. And there's no depth of the defense. Abort! We're not doing it. We're coming over here, and it's good. That's good because it's hard to get older quarterbacks to do this, right? To understand and not get too antsy knowing, oh, my gosh, I might have this over, so I'm going to stare it down. Or, oh, my coach told me I had to throw the post corner, so I'm going to go to the post corner. No, check the depth of the defense and play the game the way it should be played. But the technique thing that I was talking about is going to come up here in just a second. Watch how connected he is, right? Look how connected his feet are to the ground. Right? No over rotation. You see that? Perfect. And we didn't see that on the deep balls that he did miss. Mm-hmm. Right? And so we're gonna highlight that a little bit. But that was a nice play on all fronts.
Yeah, that's mature. Because how many young quarterbacks step up? You were a young quarterback. Yeah. And it's, I'm supposed to look to post corner first.
Well, but you got to think about it. For me, I had so many practice reps. He's a true sophomore. I was like in my third year, and I had already been through and saw a lot of defense and saw a lot of reps in practice. So some of that stuff I didn't quite have to go through as a young quarterback just because I had seen it. He hasn't, right? He just hasn't been able to. Because think about it. Last year, he's the backup quarterback, so he doesn't get a chance to see as many reps because he's the backup, right? You don't get to do scout team and go against the defense and all that. You know what I mean? And as the backup, you don't get as many reps, just the 2 reps. You have to give your reps to the starters. You know what I mean? And then he was in the gadget kind of package that he had last year, so it wasn't enough time to really get looks at defense. It's just like, hey, these are your gadget package plays. You got to learn these and know these perfectly, which you did a good job of. And this year is a little different, right? You got to know all of it, and that's good. That's really, really good that he shows that kind of maturity to. Because I talk to the young quarterbacks, older quarterbacks, everybody I work with. When you got routes like this, don't let that guy on the other side of the field borrow over. Check the depth of the defense because you know where he's going. You don't have to stare at him across the field. You know where he's going. Check the depth of the defense first, and then you'll know if you'll have it. Otherwise, you can go somewhere else. So that's good.
So this was another one from a decision-making standpoint that jumped out at me live, right? So I think this is a wide delay. You question whether it's a wide delay.
Yeah, I mean, wide delay or checking protection and then getting out. Same thing.
Right.
It acts as a wide delay, but I think he's checking protection, but whatever the case may be.
Right. So, but watch the mic on this. Watch the mic on this play.
So what's going to happen is you're going to get a shallow cross from the tight end, right? The coverage is going to lift like it's done all day. Right, and underneath, you're going to get the linebacker who picks up the tight end right away. He doesn't throw it right away. He moves in the pocket and then gets a better window to throw it. That's good quarterbacking.
That's good quarterbacking, man.
That's good quarterback. Like, because you see the coverage lifting. They've lifted to this point in the game pretty much all day, and you instead of throwing it right away and then a quick catch and tackle, right? You move up a little bit, allow him to get a little freer, and then you drive him the ball.
Yeah, man, because the Mike was sitting there.
He was ready for it.
You throw it right there, man. He's gonna drive him. Maybe he breaks it up. You don't know, but by buying a couple beats, he threw it. He got it more open. This was another one where I said, okay, man, this dude. It's his third start.
First start.
Oh, okay, first start.
Yeah.
We're there, and we're going to show them now where there's some things.
Because the thing is, that first and second start, he was perfect. So let's just cancel him out. Let's just make this his first start, right? Because what's the point of it? What's the point of even counting those? Because everybody said, "Oh, it's Hawaii, it's UConn," and he was perfect. He did what he should have done. So let's make this his first start. And for a first start against a Big Ten opponent, it's pretty good. And stuff like that in the previous play we highlighted are really good things.
Right. And so let's get into now talking about some of the things that he's going to have to correct.
Yeah, more bad.
He's going to have to correct coming out of this. So getting to the telestrations, and you are very, very methodical with breaking down mechanics.
Yeah.
And so
mechanics are so important, man, just because in the heat of the battle and the fire, and especially throughout the season, you kind of lose some of your mechanics, right? Because you don't have time to really work on mechanic-specific stuff. You have the game plan. You have a lot of stuff we talked about last year, where as the year goes on, if you don't pay attention to it, you could really be a bad quarterback by the end of the year. You know what I mean? You can still make good plays and whatever, but mechanically, you're just not doing things right. And then when you most need it, it's not going to work. All right? Most need the play made, you're not going to be able to make the play. And so here's it's a slot fade, and he has the right decision. And look at his body position. Pause it there. Right, the leg swings around. Right, leg swings around. In the previous play we saw with Roman Wilson, feet connected to the ground. Right, back foot never even comes off of the ground. Right, drives the ball in his face. And this is a thing that guys who don't have a strong enough arm do. They lift that leg and because they gotta heave it. Well, this guy doesn't have to do that. Right, he doesn't have to heave it, and so he has to get back to a place of keeping his feet connected and not swinging around. Because when you're throwing this deep ball, he's over-rotating, right? Over-rotating. We talked about it in Monday Morning Quarterback about the analogy of driving down the street 100-something miles an hour with the guy and go back and listen to it. And it kind of explains where he is kind of turning the wheel here, turning the wheel. So can it still work? Yes, he can still throw completions that way. Will it work every single time? No. Can you identify like the one thing that makes it work in here? No, that's just talent when he does it like this. You understand that? Mm-hmm. And so his body, you can see his whole jersey number and his name facing us, the viewer, but he's not throwing the ball out to the sideline, right? He's throwing the ball up the seam just a little bit towards the numbers. So he should be finishing square that way, and we're going to see a good example of it in a second, but just the technique, and this is why you're missing deep. He did it almost every single time, and this is a little bit of why he's missing deep. And this is things that he's going to fix, he's going to be able to fix. I went back and watched his high school stuff, and he stops his momentum a lot better, right? in a lot of those throws. And obviously, I didn't watch every game, so he probably did. Like, if you could rewind, you'll see his right leg is kicking in front of his whole body. You know what I mean? So let it play a little bit and try to catch you on the pause with that. And I love the yellow because you can see it so clearly on that green field. It's right after, and then try to get a pause.
Yeah, I get
right. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see it down there. There it goes right there. That's the quarterback in that position with his right foot in front, right, facing like the 35, right, facing what is that, the 35, maybe even the 30-yard line. But he's throwing a ball down the field this way, right? So that's just, even if you don't know quarterback, and you know that's not a position you want your quarterback in with his leg kicked out, right, trying to throw the ball down the field. So
do you think that this is?
Yes, I think it is, and I know what you're gonna say because he's got a big arm, but he had this shoulder injury, right? Mm-hmm. And so is he overcompensating? Thinking the thing that I would say he has to trust it. He has to trust that his arm is back. Like his arm is exactly what it used to be, and he can stay with the technique. He doesn't have to overcompensate and try to get the ball further, you know what I mean, than usual, or use that kicking that leg around. You know what I mean? Like he's fine. Like he can make all the throws. We've seen the velocity, we've seen the touch, we've seen the strength, and so he's all there, and he has to get back to having better technique on those deep balls.
All right, so here is another one that you pointed out from a mechanical standpoint.
Right, same thing, over rotating. Right, you can see that back arm when he does it right, when he does it really good, and you can see me on the video. That front arm stays here, right, as you're finishing through, and so your body is square to where your target is trying to go. Well, when you pull this arm back, right, and they taught that for so many years. I remember talking to CJ Carr's dad about it. He's like, yeah, it used to be taught to pull that arm through. Well, doesn't work, and the science has proved it. You over rotate, and then you lead to inaccuracies, right? And obviously, you can still throw completions that way, but it's not the way you want to do it, and that's not the way he throws, right? Because we're gonna see him keep that front side nice and strong and finish through the throw. And here you see miss just by a little bit, right? Because you don't truly know where the ball is gonna go.
All right, so show the form again.
Right, so he's got his front arm here, right? And so you separate at the same time, and you should leave it out front here, right, and finish through, right? Leave it there. What he's doing on these deep balls is he's coming, right, and he's pulling it here. And so now look at my head. You see the angle of my head? You want to have your head vertical and straight. Your head here, shoulders at a different angle, right, and that leg is kicking up, right? And so now you just don't know where the ball's gonna go, right? You can't be it can't be perfect. You understand that? So, but we're gonna have a clip here. We're gonna show where on these intermediate throws and in between, he is, boom, perfect. And his stand front, they call it a strong front side, and he's keeping that strong front side and doing a very good job. So it's just the deep balls. And so I will point to, because he has good technique with every other throw, but on the deep balls, he's kind of overdoing it, I would say, I guess. And I think it can be because of the shoulder injury and kind of overcompensating. So he has to get rid of that fear, get rid of that, and know that you've got the big arm and you can make the throws.
And it shows some good mechanics, to your point.
Yeah.
On this one.
Right, and we're going to see it from the back view. That's a good job of getting the ball, and nice job of Shoemaker sticking his foot around and going and knifing the defense and getting more. But let's watch him here. Let's watch him stay connected. Right, perfectly. So the ankle eye, right? Pause it there. So the ankle eye is that little, if you're at home, reach down on the inside of your foot, right? My ankles are getting a little chunky these days. I can't even find mine. But it used to, when you were younger, right, it used to be a knot right there, right? A little circle, right? And you want that to be an eye, act as an eye, and put that in the position right where you want to go, and that'll keep your body in line, right? So that's first, perfect, right? His body is in line to throw that ball out front for Shoemaker. And then play it, watch how he stays connected to the ground with his back foot and doesn't over-rotate, right? Boom. Finishes square, right? He's finishing square, and it's so smooth and so easy, right? So smooth. So he can throw the deep ball just the same, and so we're going to get a look here on this next view of that strong front side, right? Watch this strong front side again. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. That's about as good as it can get. That's about as good. Look, watch here. Boom. You see that? You see that hand staying strong in that front side and finishing square to the target. So if he gets to that with his deep balls, sky's the limit, because now that 3 of 5 becomes 4 or 5, or 2 or 5, or whatever it was becomes 4 or 5, and now we're really cooking with high grease.
Yeah, man. It was again, and not every time he went deep. So he missed 4 shots, but not every time that he went deep was it a product, or was the incompletion a product of a bad throw.
Yeah.
There was one occasion where an improper release by your receiver, or not getting back outside. We'll bring this up right now.
Yeah. So, and I want to, in Roman Wilson's defense,
Right.
Young player still, right? Hasn't. You can probably count on 2 hands the number of times he's run straight with a number 2 receiver inside, which is the tight end in this case. You can count on 2 hands, or 1 hand really, the number of times we've run pure all go, right? Which is, it's basic football. We just didn't run it, right? Pure all go, 4 verticals, all go. We haven't done it, and so usually he's a single receiver, and he has the freedom to do what he wants. You know what I mean? Release inside, maybe get back out or whatever. But in this case, you got a middle safety, and now you're allowing the safety to borrow over because you don't have proper spacing with the tight end, right? And so you release inside, and so now you and the tight end are right next to each other, and the corner stays outside, and so JJ throws the ball outside, right? Because that's where you will want Roman to be. You can see the safety getting extremely. This is a better view for the spacing, right? When he look at the space, that's not the space you want for all go, right? And you see that, and it looks like he's open, but look at the safety. And if I'm the quarterback, I'm not throwing that ball in there for that safety to run over the top and intercept it. You know what I mean? And so that makes it super hard for it clutters the vision of the quarterback and makes it cloudy.
All right, so you bring us unique perspective as a quarterback who's also played receiver.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say an improper release. Improper release was the wrong one.
Yeah.
You could release inside, but
you got to get back out. You got to get back out. And the thing is, remember I said sometimes the other team wins. He released inside, and I'm sure he wanted to get back outside, even though I don't know, it didn't look like he was really fighting. But the DB was just sitting out there, so it's hard, right? And like I said, young receiver hasn't had a ton of reps. He's like, I could probably just outrun him, right? Because he's fast. Well, their guys are pretty fast too. Watch this DB, right? He's there, and he's running step for step with Roman Wilson, right? And even closing the gap. You know what I mean? And pushing him inside a little bit. So that makes it super, and he'll learn, right? But like I said, number of times, how many times has he gotten a chance to run all go, 2x2 all go with a receiver inside? He just hasn't been able to. So
again, now go back quarterback. You see that release.
Yeah.
Do you still throw it, or do you just say, I'm gonna hit this check down, take what's
right? So he hit it on time, and he threw it as if Roman was going to get back outside, right? He went 1, 2, 3, hitch ball out, right? Which is what you want. 1, 2, 3, hitch ball out, right? So watch him. 1, 2, 3, hitch ball out, right? Anticipating, and you see the ball's way outside, anticipating that Roman's going to be able to get back outside. Now, I don't hate this. Now, this DB almost makes an amazing play. Most DBs aren't going to be able to track the ball like this, right? He makes an amazing play where
some receivers can't track the ball like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that him always catching that, I'm not worried about that. I love giving him a chance, right? Giving Roman a chance to go get the ball. So now Roman knows when he goes back, he's like, I can get this ball, but I got to do it right so I get a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because that could have easily been a back shoulder too, even if he did go outside and the DB stay with him. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think that's a learning experience for both the quarterback and the receiver. But we're going to see next a seasoned guy who's played a lot of football do it a different way.
So if you went back again, so now it's the next game, and you see the same kind of release, are you 1, 2, 3 hitch ball again, or you say, nah, I don't like the inside release on this.
Well, they're going to talk about it, right? And so either the conversation is going to be, hey, Roman, just go outside on this one, right? Give him an inside move and then go outside, and I got you. Or it's going to be, hey, I'm fine with you best release, right? Win as fast as you can, but you need to make sure you get back outside. And I got to be able to trust you to do that. Football is all about trust, right? So he can, if the conversation is that, and he's going to go inside, that throw can still be thrown. But it just has to be a different result at the back end. You know what I mean?
This is the wrong one. Let me bring up the right one so we can show, again, it's not improper release, but what a difference.
Yeah, because for receivers a lot, and you see in the NFL a ton, you don't have to release outside on the go. Like, it's not wrong to release inside, but you have to do the necessary things to get back outside to make sure that you don't close that space and clutter the vision of the quarterback.
Right. I think, is this the right one?
Vision of the quarterback.
No, this is not the right one. This is not the right one. I'm going to get this one. It's going to be the right one. I believe we are.
So this is Ronnie Bell, right? And now it's not press coverage, right? Right, but he takes his toes and then goes outside, and the ball is able to get there perfectly. But it's all vertical, right? It's all goes. I think it's all goes. Yeah. Oh no, it's going out, but it's the same thing on the outside, right? A go in the corner, and man, you see how much further he is away from the safety, right? Safety can't get over there to make a play, and you're gonna see it from the other view that he takes his toes and goes outside, right? Now it's a little different, right? Just because of the nature of the defender, right? He's not in press coverage. He is pretty close, but he's not in press up in your face coverage. But he takes his toes, gets outside, beats the hands down, and now you got space to throw the ball.
But what it shows is, hey man, that it seems like a subtle difference, but it's a big difference.
It's a big difference, yeah. Because if Roman goes outside on that last one, he might have a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good play. This is a good play. And like I said, I think Roman will learn from it, and they'll talk about it, and they'll get on a better same page. Because think about it, it's only their, second game together? First game together, technically, in my eyes.
Right.
It's their first real game together. And as I said before, understanding the spacing of all goal for verticals is something that Roman just hasn't gotten a chance to rep in live game action enough, you know?
All right, so the one decision, bad throw decision is the one.
It's terrible. This guy stinks. I just don't understand. I mean, you know, I'm sick of watching it. I'm sick of watching it. I'm tired of breaking down film and watching him make these goofy decisions. You play goofy games, you win goofy prizes. And if he keeps playing this goofy game, it's gonna be some trouble. Let the clip play.
I believe.
Guy's terrible.
This is not it.
Yeah.
I gotta find the right one.
Which one is this one though? Looks all right.
I think this is the one we just.
Sam is a JJ defender.
This is the one we just saw.
All right, he just wants to keep showing this good one, even though we got a bad one queued up that I've already prepared you guys for because this guy stinks and he can't make the right decision. He's just a JJ defender, and I'm just a realist here. I'm just a realist that tells the truth all the time, picks out, you know, the things that matter and dissects them. Meanwhile, on the other side of the table, Sam is just, you know.
All right, so that was like throw 27, I think it was in the sequence.
This isn't it.
No, I got it. Here it is. I got it.
Jeez Louise, can we get to the goods? Get to the good stuff. Here we go, down the red zone. Right, you got smash. Right, got a corner out and a hitch kind of burst in with a little whip action back out. It's still the principle of smash. We cannot throw corners late in the red zone. That's an interception. And an interception that's going to force Cornelius Johnson to try to make a tackle, and he did not come here to tackle. Right, can't be late. Can't be late to that. Right, move around, create. I will rather you move around, create, do your thing, but don't throw this late corner and yeah, bad ball. Bad ball. Now, one bad throw. Obviously, he's gonna say, yeah, he should say it should be 0 bad throws, and I agree. It should be 0 bad decisions like this. But you know, in all seriousness, that's a pretty good day when you can have a guy who is playing against a defense who's showing him things he hasn't seen, and you get one decision that in the passing game that's a bad. Why'd you throw that? You know what I mean? That's good, man. And you can only it's just building. You can continue to build on that, and the fact that you didn't get burned for it is even better, right? You get to fail, and then you can say, okay, never again. I won't do that anymore. You know what I mean? And so I think. He's really good.
Well, so they face off. So we looked at this game, at least I did, as a stiffer test for Michigan's defense. And on both sides are going to get tested, but much stiffer for the defense because they have some guys, some pros at receiver.
Yeah.
Tagovailoa is better, more mature, right?
Yeah.
They got, good game plan on the other side.
Yeah.
Defense, they're better than what Michigan has seen thus far, but it wasn't the same caliber as their offense. This is the reverse this week.
Yeah.
It's the reverse is because this is
Iowa again is supposed to have just an outstanding defense, right? And so I haven't seen Iowa yet. I haven't watched Iowa attentively yet, but I can imagine it's the same old Iowa. Leave the linebackers on the field, carry the wide receivers, cover 4, little 6, middle open, but not that open, right? Going to tackle. The linebackers are going to run sideline. The linebackers going to be like 225 pounds. He's not going to be 250. You're going to have one big guy in the middle that's probably about 250, They've been the same for the most part. Their DBs are going to be opportunistic. They're going to tip balls. They're going to be in the right position to make plays. And so you avoid those things, right? You don't have tip balls, and you just get to the right guy on time, and you bury him. I think that's what you have to do for Iowa defense, because especially early in the year, every single year, the most opportunistic, turnover-ready defense in the country, and they're doing it again this year, leading the country. And you have to make sure that you don't give those opportunities on, oh, it's a good pass, and I just didn't catch it once, and then I tipped it up, I get hit, boom. Or it's a bad pass, little behind, I reach back with one hand, I tip it up, boom. Or the ball just not as fine as I want it to be. I think there are going to be some shots out there, deep shots. And I think that JJ is going to go back. He's going to reassess the techniques of throwing a deep ball. He's going to get back in his bag, and he's going to hit some of those deep shots. And then the whole country is going to be going crazy about, oh, my goodness, this guy's amazing. He did it on this great defense. And I'm going to be sitting back saying, I don't think that defense was that great. I think that it's been the same Iowa defense as always, where it's super, super, super good in the beginning. But because their offense is so inept almost, they start to get demoralized, and they can't continue to just stop people, and people start to take advantage of the things that they do on defense. So I think that this is a great opportunity for Michigan, and a great opportunity for JJ to respond from a I was about to say bad, but it wasn't bad. It's ridiculous to say that. But let's just go bad by his perfect standards, right? To respond from a bad game, right? And so you go 11 of 12 or 22 or 26 against Iowa's defense, there won't be a whole bunch for people to say. Now, for me, I'm going to say I think there's still more. I think there's still more. But for the entire country and people who are not on the JJ bandwagon, or who maybe jumped off because of this last week's bad performance based off of his perfect standards, I think that they're going to be pleasantly surprised and want to get a ticket back on that train. But I would tell JJ, obviously, even the people on the train and off the train, just ignore it, right? Because people are going to jump on, jump off. That comes with being the quarterback at the University of Michigan, right? It's you got fair weather people, you got people who want to see you succeed, and guess what? If you come out of the game and some young new hotness comes up, they're gonna be wanting him, and they're gonna be, oh, get this guy out of here to give us the new hotness, right? And so those are things that you have to deal with, and moving forward, it's just only gonna get worse, but it could get so much better as far as his play on the field, I think.
Gotcha. All right, we'll be back to talk about it. I gotta ask you, Michigan State, Maryland, who you have in that one?
Maryland. They're going to blast them. I think Michigan State is going to come out and fight, and hopefully Maryland doesn't have a letdown, but they've got to be feeling good after coming in and competing the way they did, and maybe one bounce off a face mask at the beginning of the game from being in overtime, or maybe winning the game here at Michigan. So I think that they're going to go – where's the game played?
It's in Maryland.
Oh, yeah. They're going to blast them.
It's at Maryland, yeah.
They should blast them. Because, obviously everybody knows that Michigan State has the worst pass defense in America for the second straight year. And Talia Tagovailoa, as I said before, is really improved and really good. So he's going to be I'm sure he'll shred them.
All right.
Everybody has their career day against Michigan State. So
we'll be back next week to talk all about it. Thanks a lot again for watching the Monday Morning Quarterback Film Study. Remember, this video is not for profit. We have no sponsorship, no monetization. This is strictly for the education, entertainment, and edification of you, the viewer, and the listener. You can support us in other ways. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll get a notification every time we put up videos. Of course, on the podcast channel, like and subscribe over there. And then, of course, always subscribe to the MichiganInsider.com. If you haven't already, $1 gets you in your first month. Once you get hooked and become a full member, you'll also get a full subscription, or your subscription will also include Paramount Plus.
If you love the Lord, get on board. So no, you can't do that because we're not got no sponsors.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Sponsors.
All right.
If you love the Lord, you just keep on loving him. Don't worry about
praying for it.
Don't worry about that.
We'll get to it next time on the Monday Morning Quarterback Film Study. Thanks a lot, folks.